The pundits are tearing Tottenham Hotspur and Spurs boss Nuno Espirito Santo apart as Spurs lost the North London derby on Sunday. Jamie Carragher has stated there is less space on the moon than what you see in the Tottenham Hotspur midfield. Chris Sutton has stated that Nuno's appointment at Spurs is turning into a nightmare. Paul Merson has come out and said that if Nuno and Spurs have another performance like that in the next game, he could be sacked. More are up next in the Europa Conference League, and Hugo Lloris on a new contract. Welcome back to the channel. Hope you're all keeping well. In today's video, I'll be going through all of the latest Tottenham news, all of the rumours and all of the reports. And if you don't subscribe to this channel as yet, please do hit that subscribe button. Former Premier League striker, now TV pundit, Chris Sutton has been talking to BBC Sport all about the appointment of Nuno Espirito Santo as Tottenham manager, and he has stated that it is turning into a nightmare. He then went on to say it doesn't feel the right fit. He's got to win over the Spurs fans, and I'm not sure he can do that. He wasn't first choice or second choice. Last season, his Wolves team were on the decline, and the Spurs fans were never going to like his brand of football. Sutton then went on to say he's been put in an incredibly difficult situation. There's no doubt about that. But Nuno's comments blaming himself after the Arsenal game were worrying, and blaming the players as well. There were players not running back, unsure about what jobs were being asked of them. They were a complete and utter shambles. I don't think Spurs fans will ever get the type of football they want under Nuno Espirito Santo. Chucking the Harry Kane stuff as well, and it's turning into a bit of a nightmare. The appointment simply didn't fit, and that's on Daniel Levy. Now, my thoughts on this, and I'm not going to hold back. I'm actually very worried about the style of football that we are playing under our new boss as well. We are 6 games in the Premier League, but the way that we have set up, the way that we have lost these last 3 games, I am very, very worried. 3 London derbies, conceding 3 goals in every single one of them. Crystal Palace, Chelsea, Arsenal. The way that we have lost, the way that Nuno has set us up in games, the way that we are not creating enough, we're not scoring enough goals. It's very, very worrying at the moment. And of course, the manager is going to be asked questions. The pundits have absolutely ripped Tottenham to shreds in the last couple of days, particularly Nuno's tactics. You know, players being out of position. It is simply not good enough at the moment, and questions do need to be asked. And I'm hoping that Nuno and Tottenham can turn this around, because results and performances simply cannot continue, the way that they have been. I completely get, when a new manager comes in, he wants to try different things, he wants to try different players. But even at that Crystal Palace game, when we were 2 and 3-0 down, we weren't even going for it. We weren't even trying to score a goal. He didn't even put on an attacking player. Some of the decisions, are really being questioned by the Tottenham Hotspur fans at the moment. And, I believe that I'm quite a positive fan, and I always want to get behind my team. But when you can't see many positives, if at all any positives in the last few games, that's what I'm really, really worried about. The decline that we're in at the moment, and it seems to be very, very rapid, going downhill very, very quickly. And that is the real worrying signs for me. Now, if you didn't see Monday Night Football on Sky Sports, the Crystal Palace v Brighton game, Jamie Carragher, of course, TV pundit and ex-Liverpool and Premier League legend, he was picking apart the Arsenal v Tottenham North London derby, and, the way that he did it. If you haven't seen it, do check out my Twitter. It's one of the latest tweets. And, the way that he picked that apart, very, very worrying, really is. Even after 5 seconds, he just showed that Tottenham just simply weren't ready in that North London derby. He said, I've been doing this show for 8 years. Whenever I see a performance like that, I always look at the players first, as I have on this. I think managers often take too much criticism, and it's often down to the players. There was some shocking performance from Tottenham players, but I think the manager was equally to blame in this result, in how he set up. He then went on to say, when people question a manager, we always hear there was no plan. But there's always a plan at this level in football. When you analyse it, I'm not sure how this plan was ever going to work. Jamie Carragher then went on to play some clips, and he said 1 minute into the game, Dele Alli, Tonguion Ndombele and Pierre-Emile Højbjerg are the midfield players, and they are not in midfield positions. The only reason that you'd stand there so far from the ball and in midfield is if your manager has told you to go there. They wanted to go direct, but to who? Even if you win the ball, you need someone behind you to pick up second balls. But Dele Alli was on the same line as Harry Kane. When you look at the space in midfield, I don't think I've ever seen anything like it in my life. Where would you want them? Surely not there. There's less space on the moon than what you see in that midfield for Tottenham. It's actually unbelievable. The manager must have told them where to go. This is before the first goal. It was always going to happen. Now for some Spurs women news. They progressed to the quarter-finals of last season's Women's FA Cup with a win against Sheffield United back in May. The competition actually resumes on Wednesday evening this week, and we travel to Meadow Park for a clash against North London rivals Arsenal. Now, if you'd like to watch the game, it will be live at 7:15 p.m. kickoff, live on BBC4. Former Arsenal legend, now TV pundit with Sky Sports, Paul Merson, has come out and said after Arsenal's win against Spurs in the North London derby on Sunday, they could now push for the top four in the Premier League. And if Nuno Espirito Santo and Tottenham have another performance and another result like that, Nuno Espirito Santo could possibly face the sack. Speaking in his Sky Sports column, Paul Merson said if Arsenal keep those players fit and they play every week, they would have a chance of getting into the top four and cause problems. They have no Europe this season, so they will have time to recover and work on the team. Talking about Tottenham and Nuno Espirito Santo, Paul Merson said, I've always liked Nuno Espirito Santo and thought he would get a top job, but there are ways of getting beat at football, and those players were not running through a brick wall for him on Sunday, and that is where the worry starts. Merson then added, if the players want someone out, they are out. One more game like that and Nuno is gone. Spurs will not mess about. They can't have it. Now, my thoughts on Paul Merson's comments. Arsenal getting top four, I couldn't care less, but I don't think they will. I don't think they're anywhere near top four. When you think of the Manchester side, you think of Chelsea and you think of Liverpool. Other teams are far better than them as well. But as I say, I couldn't care less about what they're doing. I'm more interested in my club right now. His comments on Nuno Espirito Santo, one more game like that and Nuno is gone. It is absolutely crazy to think Nuno Espirito Santo won the first 3 Premier League games of his managerial career at Spurs. Beating Manchester City, beating Wolves, beating Watford. He then won the Manager of the Month award. And then, of course, a month later, a lot of Spurs fans, a lot of pundits now are talking about Nuno possibly getting the sack. But, I partly agree with Paul Merson. Another performance and another result like that. Losing 3-0, and I know I keep repeating myself here, losing 3-0 against Palace, 3-0 against Chelsea, 3-1 against Arsenal. It is the manner that we are losing these games. That is what is really worrying. I do not want to get beat. I never ever want to see Tottenham getting beaten in any game, particularly in the Premier League. But it is the way that we're getting beaten. It is the way that we're conceding goals. And he's absolutely right there. Players didn't even want to run on Sunday, let alone going through a brick wall for Nuno Espirito Santo. That is what is really, really worrying. And I keep using that word, worrying. I'm very worried right now about, these players not playing for our manager, particularly that there is only 6 Premier League games gone. That is the biggest disappointment of all. Also, a few people have messaged me stating, Chris, do you think Daniel Levy and the board will sack Nuno Espirito Santo if we have a couple of bad results? Now, you never ever know in football. If you'd have asked me that 6 days before the Carabao Cup, would Jose Mourinho have got the sack? Never in a million years. Crazy decisions, but decisions that the board do make. So who knows? Who knows? If we lose that game against Aston Villa on Sunday, does Nuno Espirito Santo get the sack? Who knows? Tottenham need to, have direction. And at the moment, I don't think that we are going in the right direction at all. And again, I use that word worrying. That is the biggest worry for me. We're not going in the right direction. 2 years ago, we were in a Champions League final, and it has just been a rapid decline ever since. And, you know, this was meant to be a turning point. This summer was meant to be a turning point. You know, offloading some players, getting new players in, you know, having a refresh, having a rebuild. And it just seems now that we are going downhill yet again. As we all know, club captain Hugo Lloris is in his last year of contract at Tottenham Hotspur Football Club, and at the moment he will currently leave in the summer of 2022. He has been talking to the Evening Standard about the possibility of a new contract, but said there's nothing from the club yet about a new contract. That's not a problem. I'm totally focused. We'll see later about that, and there's no issue at all. We know each other very well. Lloris then went on to say, to win a trophy is what I'm working every day for, but who knows? When you look at the club today compared with in the past, the club is in a fantastic place. But there's also a lot of clubs in the Premier League that are working well and improving every season, and it makes the league so competitive. Now, my thoughts on this, it'll be interesting whether to see whether Hugo Lloris will stay on for another year or so. Of course, it's going to be a long season. Hugo Lloris, you know, talking about trophies there, it just makes me so angry and feel very, very sad, because I've said this on this channel over the last couple of years. You know, Mauricio Pochettino left, Christian Eriksen, Jan Vertonghen, Toby Alderweireld, Moussa Dembele. So many good and decent players wearing a Spurs shirt have left the club without winning a trophy. Hugo Lloris, of course, has been a player and a goalkeeper with us since 2012. You know, when he leaves in the summer of if he leaves in the summer of 2022, he would have been at the club for 10 years. And, you know, a player like that, a World Cup winner, you know, playing for Spurs for 10 years and not winning a trophy, it just makes me feel very, very sad that these players have not won trophies with us. The match officials have been revealed for Tottenham's next Premier League game, which of course takes place this Sunday against Aston Villa. The referee on the day will be Chris Kavanagh. His assistants will be Dan Cook and Dan Rabathan. The fourth official will be Graham Scott, and VAR will be Michael Oliver. So, as I've mentioned in the last couple of videos, Pierre-Emile Højbjerg has been called up for Denmark for the international break during October. Heung-min Son has been called up to the South Korea squad. Giovanni Lo Celso and Christian Romero have been called up to the Argentina squad. And on Tuesday, Ben Davies and Joe Rodon have been called up to the Wales squad, where they will be facing Czech Republic and Estonia during the October international break. And lastly, Tottenham Hotspur's next competitive game is back in the Europa Conference League this Thursday at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, where we'll be facing Slovenian side Mora. Now, they actually lost their opening game in Group G in the Europa Conference League, a 2-0 home defeat against Dutch side Vitesse. And of course, Tottenham drew 2-2 away at Rennes a couple of weeks ago. Please let me know in the comment section below how confident you are feeling about Tottenham winning this game in the Europa Conference League. Personally, I'm going to go for a 2-0 win, so please put your score predictions in the comment section below. Hopefully, Tottenham will pick up 3 points in Group G. Thanks for watching today's short update. Please do let me know all of your thoughts in the comment section below on everything I've spoken about in today's video. If you don't subscribe to this channel as yet, please do hit that subscribe button. Stay safe and well. I'll see you on the next one. Until then, come on you Spurs.